An ant queen accidentally arrived on the shores of the human world, triggering a biological tragedy that nearly wiped out humanity. A terrible coincidence, right? Or was it something else? In Hunter x Hunter, coincidences don't exist. What if I told you that the entire Chimera ant arc, from the queen's arrival to Netero's death, wasn't a natural accident, but the most meticulously planned assassination ever carried out? Today we're going to explore the evidence suggesting that Pariston and beyond Netero raised the ant queen with a singular purpose: to kill the president. A 2-meter-tall ant queen doesn't just cross the ocean from the dark continent to Lake Movius by swimming or flying on her own. It's physically impossible. Someone had to bring her, and not only bring her, but deposit her in the one place on Earth where she could thrive undetected: NGL, Neo-Green Life. A country that rejects technology, communication, and external intervention. Had the queen shown up anywhere else, she would have been exterminated within hours. But in NGL, she was able to remain hidden for weeks. That's not luck, that's logistics. Because this queen was different. She likely had human DNA traces before she arrived. She displayed advanced intelligence, allowed individuality in her troops, and even wanted to name her child. This wasn't a wild accident. This was an experiment. She was bred and genetically modified with human genes for decades to become the perfect mother for the ultimate biological weapon. And who would have the access and patience for such a long-term project? Beyond Netero, of course. The Chimera ant arc resulted in 2 major consequences. Netero dies. Pariston gains 5,000 hybrid soldiers who can use Nen. What was the goal? To benefit beyond Netero's faction. Netero had forbidden his son from returning to the Dark Continent while he was alive. His death wasn't a tragedy. It was the key to his freedom. And Pariston, his shadow executor, made sure that door was unlocked. Pariston was actively hindering the extermination efforts. He blocked the deployment of strong hunters, withheld resources, and allowed the situation to escalate until it became a national threat. What was his goal? To isolate Netero. He wanted to force the president to face the Ant King alone, ensuring a death match with no interference. What was that? A delegated assassination. The most chilling part is that Netero probably knew all of this. He made Pariston vice president because he was the most dangerous and unpredictable man. Netero lived for the challenge, and he understood that his son and vice president were conspiring to kill him. And instead of stopping them, he accepted the game. 50 years ago, Beyond Netero led a failed expedition to the Dark Continent. The mission didn't just fail, it brought back chimera ants and a deadly virus, the immortality disease. Rumors say Beyond was infected as well, but unlike the survivor who lost their mind, Beyond, being a world-class Nen master, managed to assimilate the disease. He became a functional carrier of immortality. This explains his most famous phrase, "I'll wait as long as it takes." For a man who can't die of old age, spending 50 years raising ants in a basement is nothing. Time stopped being an obstacle for him. What if the Ant King survived and destroyed Beyond's plan to explore the Dark Continent? The answer is the poor man's rose. Pariston and Beyond didn't leave anything to chance. The bomb inside Netero wasn't just a tactical decision by the president. It was the security mechanism of the conspiracy. It guaranteed that no matter who won the physical fight, both Netero and Meruem would die. And as if killing his father wasn't enough, Pariston secured himself a private army. The 5,000 cocoons he confiscated weren't just trophies. They were an invasion force for the Dark Continent. Pariston knew sending normal humans there would be useless. He needed disposable soldiers who were loyal and could use Nen. The Chimera ants were designed not just to kill Netero, but to serve as Beyond's infantry in the new expedition. Everything, from the selection of East Gorto to the collection of the cocoons, was part of the same logistical operation. The other obstacle was legal. The V5 had strictly prohibited any travel to the Dark Continent. Beyond couldn't just set sail. He needed a legal loophole, and here's where his plan turns into a masterpiece. 30 years ago, the Kakin Empire underwent a quiet revolution. It went from a socialist empire to a parliamentary democracy, changing its name to the new Empire of Kakin. This wasn't an ideological shift, it was a legal move. By changing its status and name, Kakin argued that it was a new nation, and therefore not subject to the old treaties signed by the old empire. Beyond orchestrated this revolution from the shadows. He likely helped the current Queen Subi, win her own succession war decades ago in exchange for a future favor, funding the expedition. Beyond manipulated the history of an entire nation just to get a legal ship 30 years later. There's a succession war between princes, a mafia war in the lower levels sparked by Morena, and the phantom troop hunting Hisoka. And in the middle of all this, Beyond Netero sits calmly in a cell under the Zodiac's custody. Why is he so calm? Because he designed this chaos. He knows the Hunter Association is strong, but they can't monitor him and protect 200,000 civilians at the same time. He encouraged the war, invited chaos, and probably leaked treasure information to attract high-level criminals. His plan is simple. When the ship reaches the false continent, the situation will be so critical, with so many casualties and conflicts, that his escape will be a walk in the park. He's using the princes, the troop, and the Zodiacs as smokescreens for his own freedom. Even if Netero had survived his fight with Meruem, Pariston had another checkmate prepared. If the president came back alive, Pariston would have used the existence of the Chimera ants to politically destroy him. He would have argued to the V5 that under Netero's watch, a near-extinction threat was allowed to grow unchecked. He would have used the missing hunters as evidence of Netero's incompetence. Pariston wins in any scenario. If Netero dies, Beyond is free. If Netero lives, he's deposed and Pariston takes control, authorizing the Hunter expedition himself. Pariston didn't need to win an election. He could start a civil war. He had the power to order his 5,000 soldiers to hunt down not Netero, but his allies, the Zodiacs, and any resistance, one by one. He would have forced the president to watch as his legacy was torn apart, piece by piece, dragging him into a bloody, massive conflict where his personal strength would be irrelevant. Pariston designed the only cage the Bodhisattva couldn't escape from. Netero was doomed the moment the Queen set foot in NGL. He had 3 guns pointed at his head: physical death at the hands of Meruem, political death by the V5, or complete destruction of his organization by Pariston. No matter which path the president chose, the outcome was always the same. The door to the Dark Continent would open for his son. Netero never had a real chance to win. He only had the illusion of choosing how he wanted to lose. In the end, the Chimera Ant arc wasn't a war between species. It was a family dispute between a father and son, resolved through genocide.